Hello Champagne Dreamers, welcome back to my channel. I'm your girl, Miss J, the trash queen of glam, geek, and gore. And for this video, I'm super excited to do a little check-in on a video that I put out right around the beginning of the year. I'll go ahead and link that up in the cards in case you haven't checked it out. But I did a video where I talked about 8 brands that I want to try in 2021. Well, I
am a monster.
So I had already placed orders with all 8 brands before the end of June. So I made it halfway through the year and had already ordered from all 8 brands. So we're going to talk a little bit about what those brands are, do a little check-in and review, and talk about what I decided to order. And I'll give you some quick thoughts. Most of them do have reviews up already on JanessaJ.com. But I also was like, you know what, I should have some more brands that I check out. And so we're going to talk about 6 more brands that I want to try through the end of 2021. And we'll talk about how I came up with 6, and it's a whole mess. So if you want to check out all of this fabulous shopportunity that I've been experiencing... What? That got weird. So if you want to know all about these brands that I've been trying and brands that I still want to try before 2021 slips away forever, then stick around. We're getting into it right now. Alright, so I did a video that was 8 brands that I want to try in 2021. And like I said in the intro, before the end of June, I had already placed orders with all 8 brands. So I was like, you know what, I need to have some goals. I don't want to just be buying willy-nilly. I want to like have some plan. I want to try new brands. I want to try new things and experiment. So I decided I was going to do some more, but I didn't want to commit to another 8. I was like, that's excessive even for me. And so I thought, well, maybe I'll just do half. So I thought, well, I'll start doing some looking around and I'll try to find 4 more brands. You'll notice the title of this video is 6 brands, and the reason why is that as I was putting together my list of my 6 new brands, I had placed orders with 2 of those brands before the list was even completed. So I was like, well, let's have 4 that we haven't ordered from yet, and then we'll have the 2 as well. So that's how we came up with 6. We're going to talk about those in a little bit, but first we're going to do a review of the 8 brands that I said I wanted to try. First up, so many firsts. So first up, the first brand that I wanted to try was Black Cosmetics. And so I am always looking for new Black-owned and minority-owned makeup brands to try out. And so you know what? I was like, let's do it. They had some fabulous things. The Black Power 1.0 palette was always sold out. I haven't caught it in stock yet, but I was able to get my hands on the Black Power 2. So this is their second palette. It's a beautiful pink peach kind of color story, and it's got the same sort of Black Power fist for the packaging. The packaging is nice and petite. It's very thin, and so it is kind of an odd shape, but it actually fits into my collection pretty easily, so it's not too bad. And then here we have the colors. Obviously, I love pink, so this is a great palette. I really do like this. I thought these were really good. The shimmers were really, really nice. The mattes were pretty good. The mattes were okay. I think the shimmers are kind of the standout for me in these. But there's just some beautiful, beautiful shades in here. And I would definitely try the Black Power 1.0 if I can catch it when it's in stock. And I'm excited to see what else they do, because they're still a pretty new brand. The second brand that I said I wanted to try out is an Australian indie brand, and that is Lucky Bunny Cosmetics. And I did end up ordering 2 palettes from Lucky Bunny Cosmetics, the Envy palette and the Greed palette. We know I love greens, and I also love purples, and there's a fun hot pink in here as well. But I did go ahead and order 2 of their Deadly Sins palettes, so these were a lot of fun. Now these greens are beautiful, and as with a lot of the brands that I'm going to talk about, the shimmers were pretty solid. The mattes were okay. The mattes were great. They were fine. They weren't like stunning, earth-shattering, change my life, but they were okay. It is pretty basic private label-esque packaging, so that's one thing I will say about these. But here you can see the selections of green, pretty decent. Now for the I almost said greened. For the Greed palette, we have some purples, we have a couple fun pinks, and a couple dark, neutral, berry kind of shades. This little champagne, this hot pink. We love it. So this was a beautiful color story. And again, kind of basic, cheap private label packaging. I have had trouble with both of these palettes where shades will just kind of fall out and I have to re-glue them back in. But overall, I thought the performance on these was fine. Now, the elephant in the room, if you did watch my 2021 Declutter series, and if you missed it, I'll link the eyeshadow declutter up here in the cards. But I did decide to declutter both of these palettes. And the reason why is just that there's nothing really special or unique about them. They are beautiful. I love greens. I love purples. The performance was fine. But I just have so many greens, so many purples, and I just don't see myself reaching for these over other greens and purples. And because it's part of a collection, I know how my brain works, and I would be tempted to buy the other sins to kind of complete the collection. So I thought, you know what? Let's declutter these to somebody who will really enjoy them and love them. And that way I don't have to feel that weird completionist thing. But I really did like them. It was fun to try, and I'm glad I gave them a chance. Now for a couple British indie brands. The first one is one that I think might be connected to Beauty Bay in some way. That's my little conspiracy theory, but I love the Beauty Bay quality, and I love the quality of this brand, and that is the Feet on the Ground palette by Made by Mitchell. So this is from influencer Mitchell. There's so many M's. But this is the Feet on the Ground palette. He had two palettes. They're a little bit pricey, so I just bought the one. But I did really like this, and I liked it enough that I would probably do the other one if it came around, if it was just feeling like the right time to get that sort of pastel kind of color story. If it was on sale, I would definitely think about adding it to my collection. But no surprise, I decided to start with this palette because it's got some beautiful greens. There are some lovely green shadows in here and some bright, like a day glow green and kind of a lime shimmer. And then there's these unexpected, like this pop of like blood orange, and then these couple purples that are kind of fun, and this dark teal. And so I just thought this was a really fun color story. And so I got my beautiful greens, and I did actually end up using this in a Face Friday that I'll link down below, where I created audition makeup, and I used this for that look. This was a lot of fun. The performance was great, and I'm excited to see what else Mitchell does. I hope he continues with it because the stuff that he put out so far has been pretty good. So I hope that this isn't kind of a one and done sort of thing. I hope he really sort of continues with this brand and keeps putting out this level of quality. And another UK-based indie brand that I have been eyeing for a long time, and some of my faves from back in the day had at least one of these palettes, if not all three, and raved about them, and that is Michelou Cosmetics. And Michelou Cosmetics had three palettes. The Queen Bee palette, with this beautiful collection of golds and bronzes and browns. The Fawn palette, which is also very brown, very neutral, but it has some more cool tones to it, and it's much more matte focused. Queen Bee has a little bit more of a shimmery side to it. This one has a few shimmers, but definitely really focuses on some beautiful neutral mattes. And the one that made me fall in love with this brand, this is the Witchcraft palette. And this is a collection of dark swampy greens, a couple of fun reddish purples, and just a couple of neutrals to kind of round it out. But it's got this swampy, witchy look that I really just love. Now, Michelou was ordered quite a long time ago, but I actually haven't had a chance to review it yet for JanessaJ.com. And so the review is not up yet. I'm working on it. I'm trying to get it done. It's a lot of eyeshadow to swatch and play with at one time, so it takes a little bit longer, but we are definitely working on it, and I'm super excited. What I've seen so far, I'm loving. So I'm excited that I finally bit the bullet and got me some Michelou Cosmetics. Everything that all of my faves said about it, it seems like they were right. So I'm excited to play with these more. Michelou. Another brand that I wanted to try that I've had for a long time. I actually think I bought these over the Black Friday weekend last year, and I still haven't done the review. And we're going to talk about why, and that is Makeup by Mario. And there's a lot from Makeup by Mario, and he's been putting out a lot this year as well. But I decided to pick up two of his kind of pro mixer palettes. So I got his lip mix palette, and this is where you can mix up your own custom lip colors, and it's got a selection of red and pink and some neutral shades, and then as well as some mixers down here, a white and a black to make it darker or lighter, give it a little bit more of a yellow tone, a little bit warmer tone, or a blue to give it a little bit more of a cooler tone. The reason why I haven't reviewed this yet is that I'm trying to figure out the best way to review it, because obviously I can swatch each of the individual colors, but I want to really play with it and see how the customization works. And I'm not great with applying lipstick anyway. That's a self-read. But playing with a lip brush is a whole special new level of challenge for me. So I have just been intimidated by this, and I haven't gotten around to playing with it. But my goal, my commitment is to make sure I do get all of the products from that previous video as well as this video reviewed before the end of the year. So definitely look for that coming soon. But this just intimidates me, but I'm excited to play with it. And I also picked up this metallic mixer palette. So this is the one where you can scrape a little bit into the tray and you can mix the colors and you add like a mixing medium and it becomes like a beautiful metallic paint. So I decided that, again, I wanted to do all the things. So I ordered the little bottle of mixing medium from Makeup by Mario. I also ordered a bottle of the Krylon, which is allegedly the exact same thing, but much, much, much cheaper. And I also have my old school MAC mixing medium. So I want to play around with these with all three mixing mediums and see, does it make a difference? Can you use really anything to mix with this? Does it make a difference to have the Mario one? Are the Mario and the Krylon, do they perform the same? So I want to play around with that, but it's just taking me a little bit of time. But I'm excited to play around with this Makeup by Mario. I love that sort of makeup artist customizable element. I'm intimidated by it. I'm not always great at executing it, but I love the idea of it and it's fun to play. All right, and my last three brands are all here in this palette. I do have a separate palette from one of the brands that I can't find. I just did a big declutter. My office should be much easier to navigate, but for some reason I cannot find this palette. And that brand is Copacetic Cosmetics. So I did do a review on JanessaJ.com, I'll link it down below, of the companion palette. So I do have a review of that on JanessaJ.com, but I also ordered the Summer Flakies bundle, which are these 9 shadows right up here. And these are really beautiful. The colors on these are really gorgeous, and they absolutely make me think of summer. They absolutely inspire me to play around. The one thing I will say about Copacetic Cosmetics, and I definitely talked about this in the review, is that this flaky formula is not my favorite. I find it hard to work with. I think even foiling it, mixing it with some sort of spray or something, it's just hard to work with. If anybody has any tips or tricks, please leave them down in the comments for me, because I struggle hard when I try to use this, because I try to use like a natural hair brush and pick them up and pat them on over like a tacky primer and just like pat them. I try swiping sometimes. Like I try a little bit of everything and I just struggle with them. So the companion palette was a rough time for me. I haven't had a chance to really play with these, but these are all that flaky formula, so I think I'm going to struggle again. And that's one of the things that I noted in the Copacetic review of the palette, is that some of them were the flaky formula, but then they had just beautiful shimmers. Like the shimmers that weren't flaky were stunning. And I was like, if you can do shimmers that good, why are you doing so much of this flaky stuff? Why are you doing so much of this stuff that's hard to work with, that has this steep learning curve? Why are you doing that to me? You can make beautiful shimmers. So Copacetic I definitely had a little bit of a mixed bag with, but I'm excited to play with these colors, and there will be a separate review of these coming soon. Brand number 7 that I was super excited to try are these green lovelies right down here, and these are from Clionadh Cosmetics. So they have a ton of multichromes and iridescent multichromes and pastel multichromes. And you can go there and just feel overwhelmed, and so many times things are out of stock or they're on pre-order, and I just was feeling overwhelmed. I was like, you know what, I want to try Clionadh. I don't need to try a ton of them, and we know that I love green, and since the shadows are kind of expensive, why don't we just go for something that I know I'm gonna love? Why don't we just go for something green? So that's what I decided to do. I just went through whatever was in stock and ready to ship, and I just picked out 4 beautiful green shades from their different multi-chrome collections. So we have this one, which is kind of a green with maybe a purple, almost an indigo. We have this green into gold, into lime. This green with kind of a pink purple shift, and then this kind of yellow gold green with kind of a white base. These are beautiful. Now, are they so beautiful? Are they so stunning that I need to pay $16, $18, $25, whatever their multi-chrome prices are for the different collections? It's tough for me because I don't think so. I think that if you are on a makeup budget and you've been drooling about these and you're feeling sad that you're not able to get them, don't fret, pet. There are beautiful multi-chromes and duochromes and pastel shimmers and all kinds of things from other brands that are more affordable. If you can afford these, and if these fit into your makeup budget and your makeup lifestyle, they are beautiful. They are absolutely stunning. The greens here are so pretty, and I'm so glad I have them, and I'm excited to play and make more beautiful green looks. But it's not something that you should feel like you are really missing out on if you can't afford it. If you can't afford it, you can't afford it. It's fine. Makeup is just makeup. Nobody needs it to survive. So I think these are a great luxury item. I think that if you can afford it, if it makes sense for your life, get a couple and just play with them. You don't have to get the whole collection. You don't have to get like the $500 collection of shadows or whatever. Just find something that you think you will use. Pick your favorite color or pick your favorite combinations for like a multi-chrome and just have fun with it. And then I think it could be really great. This chair is not comfortable on my bum. And the last brand is this collection of shadows up here, as well as these two highlighters. And these are all from Terra Moons Cosmetics. So I have been wanting to try the Cosmic Chameleons, and I think I've got a couple extreme multi-chromes. These are beautiful, and I do have a review on these at JanessaJ.com. And these kind of multi-chrome highlighters are beautiful as well. I really do like them. I think that these are a little bit more affordable than the Cleona. I think they come in a beautiful array of shades. I think they're generally, although they do have some sellouts and restocks and things like that, but I think they're generally easier to get your hands on. And I think that these are just as good. So if you're looking for something that's maybe still a little pricey, but a little bit of a step down maybe from the Cleona shadows, maybe start with these and play around and see what you think. But the Terra Moons, I'm super excited to have those in my collection. So those are the 8 brands that I said I wanted to try in 2021, where all the orders were placed through the end of June. So let's talk about the 6 brands that are making up my experiments through the end of the year. 3 of them I have with me, and 3 of them I have not yet ordered from. So we're going to talk about the first 3 that I've already ordered. 2 of them I ordered while I was making the list, and 1 has been ordered since then. And then the other 3, I've still got a few months left in the year, so we're going to check those out as well. But the first one of the brands that I wanted to try in 2021, Part 2, is Auric Beauty. And this one is tough for me to figure out how to review because I'm a big old drag queen and I wear makeup differently than people do. As if I'm not people. People who need people
Are the luckiest people.
Copyright strike. Drag queens are people, in case you didn't know. But I wear it different than typical makeup wearing people. So it's harder for me to review foundations because I put it on like spackle. And this isn't a foundation per se, but it's sort of a liquid illuminizer. And so I've been playing with this. I've used it in some Face Fridays. I've used it in a couple looks that I've done for live events now that I'm starting to venture back out into the world. And this is the Glow Lust in the new Morganite shade. So Samantha Ravindal recently said that she was restocking Morganite, and the reason why this one was restocked faster than other shades is because it was actually a reformulated shade. It was something where they looked at the color, and it wasn't different enough from the one that was one step up, which I think was either selenite or pyrite. They're all named after beautiful stones. And so when she showed the difference, this was much more cool toned, much more pinky peach, and I was like, that's for me. Because the other ones were much too golden toned, and I had thought about getting it, but I didn't pull the trigger, and then it was sold out, and who knew when it was going to be back in stock. So I waited, and I'm glad that I did, because this reformulated shade has actually been really beautiful, and I'm excited to get my full thoughts down in a review. But I've had a lot of fun playing with this, and it's actually given some real beautiful lightness to a lot of my looks. Now, the other brand that I had already ordered from when I was making the list is Wicked Sisters Cosmetics. And that's because they are an ooky spooky, not officially licensed makeup brand. So they have a lot of palettes and products that are inspired by big horror franchises, and I was super excited. So I did pick up a liquid lipstick and a primer, which I happen to be wearing today. But the main two things that I wanted to pick up and that I wanted to play around with were two palettes. The Wanna Play palette, clearly inspired by Child's Play, and the House of Horrors palette, which is inspired by Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So this is the Wanna Play palette, and you can see this is a bunch of bright neon, like Crayola sort of fun colors. Now I did find, especially for some of the neon ones, they were a little bit sheer, but not bad. For a neon and bright palette, I would say that these will work best over like a white base, but they weren't bad on their own. I played around with these and I was actually really surprised at how good they were. So this is a fairly good palette. And look, there's just fun like Best Friend, Evil Laugh, True Identity, Toy Store, Overalls, Killer Doll, Hammer, Human Heart, Spell. There's just fun shade names, and it really captures the spirit of Chucky and Child's Play without paying those pesky licensing fees. Now, the House of Horrors palette is good, but it's not quite as good. And the reason why is that there's a lot of neutrals, and the neutrals, even though they are different, there's a lot that, like, they're not that different, you know what I mean? Like, they're different, but they're not that different. Like, they probably could have gone with something much more of a contrast than all of these browns. Like, they're different, but they're not different enough to really make that big of a difference. This red is kind of muted. I would love, like, a blood red to add in with some of these. This shimmer shade, Meat Hook, is beautiful. It's kind of a fun meat bruise kind of color, and it's a beautiful shimmer. Texas, this gold is kind of fun. It's a little bit of a dusty, like, antique gold. So there's some fun colors in here, but it's much more muted, much more reserved, and there's just a little bit too much repetitiveness in the browns. If you want to see the full review on these two palettes, definitely check out the link in the description box. And the last brand that I have ordered since putting the list together, this one I didn't order while I was putting the list together. I could have ordered from almost all of them. I was like in a mood to shop, but I decided to just order from those first two. But this is the next one that I ordered from, and it was not too long after that. And that is Nomad Cosmetics. I have had a lot of people on my YouTube feed talk about Nomad Cosmetics, although it's kind of disappeared. It's not there as much. So it makes me wonder if there's some clever PR going on, and then now that maybe if there's not PR, we're not talking about it as much. So that, I have to give it a little side eye because they haven't popped up for a while. But I did pick up two palettes from Nomad. Cartagena. Do you know what that? It's supposed to be like a location. Cartagena.
How do you spell it? Should I do a how do you say to Google?
Yeah.
It's in Colombia. Okay.
Cartagena.
Cartagena. Okay.
Cartagena.
The Cartagena Magica palette. By the way, keyboard warriors, if you're going to tell me that I said that wrong, that's how Google says to say it. So at least I put in the effort. I don't know. Cartagena.
Cartagena.
And the America's Parks palette. So these two I have not had a chance to review yet, but I am super excited because they are some beautiful color stories. The Cartagena Magica palette is a collection of oranges and peaches and pinks, and there aren't really any just like true neutrals in this palette. So I don't love warm neutral palettes, but a warm colorful palette where I'm getting beautiful oranges and pinks and yellows And, you know, a couple of these that are maybe a little bit more neutral, I'm fine with that because there's so much color and this is so pretty. So I'm excited to play around with this one. And then if I want to go a little bit more cool toned or mix it up a little bit more, I have the America's Parks palette, which is much more of a rainbow palette. So we've got a little bit of everything. We've got these beautiful kind of marbled shades through the middle, this green, beautiful. And then a couple greens here, a blue, a purple, a couple yellows, a red, kind of an orangey bronze. So you get kind of like a rainbow, but not just like in-your-face rainbow. It's much more subdued and kind of interesting twists on the colors. So I'm excited to play with both of these palettes. Look for a review coming soonish. I'm behind. Now let's talk about the last 3 brands that I still want to try before the year is out that I haven't placed an order from. How have I managed to miss them? I am super excited to order from these 3 brands. The first one is Drench Cosmetics, and specifically, I want the Genesis palette, which is a collab palette between Drench Cosmetics and Nomad Cosmetics. Nope. And specifically, I want to order the Genesis palette, which is a collab between Drench Cosmetics and Midas Cosmetics. Now, Midas Cosmetics I have ordered from before. I have reviewed them before, but this seems to be, it's a collab between the two, and it seems to be driven by Drench, so I think that'll count, right? Hopefully. I mean, I want to try that palette. Maybe I'll look around and see what else is on the site. I just have been hearing such great things about that Genesis palette that I definitely want to try that. And I'll look around the site and see if there's anything else that I want to try at the same time. But Drench Cosmetics, definitely on my list. And then another one that I want to try, because I've been getting into multi-chromes, and this company has fucking bananas multi-chromes, and that is Chaos Makeup. If their shadows look half as good in person as they do in their promo videos on Instagram, fuck me up sideways, Brenda. It is so good. Like, the colors are amazing and bright and vivid. They are so gorgeous. And the videos that they take just look mind-boggling. So I am super excited. I am super intimidated by multi-chromes, but I want to be better at them. I want to play with them more. And some of the options that they have just look really beautiful. So I'm excited to try out some bananas multi-chromes from Chaos Makeup. And the last brand that I want to try is one that I've heard about from a couple of my like UK/EU influencers that I love. Angelica Nyqvist from Sweden and Make Me Up Missa from Scotland. And they both rave about the palettes from Be Perfect Cosmetics. Specifically the Carnival palettes, which are a collab with a makeup artist, Stacey Marie or something. I can't remember the name. But they talk a lot about the Carnival palettes, and they've made some beautiful, beautiful looks. I would love to do a Don't Drink and Drag and try to create one of Make Me Up Missa's, like, super intricate, like, cut crease with one of those Be Perfect palettes. I am sure I will make a complete fucked up mess of it, but she does beautiful looks in the things that she does. And Angelica seems to say that Be Perfect is pretty good. She likes the quality, so I am excited to try them. And I thought, you know what, since I'm looking to add some new brands to my collection before the end of the year, it's finally time to bite the bullet and get some Be Perfect Cosmetics. So that is it. Those are the 6 additional brands that I want to try before 2021 is over. I am still all about Soothe shopping. I know that the pandemic rages on. We just cannot get people to behave and act like adults, and they're too busy like doing their own research by joining like anti-vax groups on Facebook and shit like that. It's just, we're doomed. We're doomed. But I'm excited to do some Soothe shopping and try out these additional brands. And my goal, hopefully knock on filming table. Hopefully I'll be able to get all of those reviews up on JanessaJ.com before the end of the year. So let me know down in the comments section below, what do you think of my 6 new brands that I've added to my list? Let me know what you think about my first 8 choices. Were you surprised by the things that I ordered? Are there things that you're like, oh, you should have tried this from this brand? This is the product that I love. Let me know all of the details down in the comment section below. I would love to hear it. If you've got additional brands, I can start making my list for 2022 because I'm sure I will do it again next year. So let me know what brands you think I should try, what products, and let me know down in the comment section below. While you're down there, don't forget to give me a thumbs up or give me a thumbs down if you think that I am a shopping monster and need to be stopped. I'll take the engagement either way. The algorithm isn't a picky bitch, and neither am I. Check my grinder. While you're down there, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and hit that bell notification so you'll be notified of all future uploads every time I upload. I hate to say this now because it's been a hot goddamn minute. I try to upload 1 video a week, and sometimes, if you're really good and I'm not a slacker piece of shit, I might even have a bonus video for you. Ooh, unexpected. Unlikely. If you'd like to chat, banter, or commiserate between uploads, all of my social media will be linked down in the description box below, including a link to my website, The World of Champagne, at JanessaJ.com. Thank you so much for watching and taking this little shopportunistic journey with me. I really appreciate it. Stick around, subscribe. If we hit 200 subscribers, Angie and I are going to do the Hot Ones Challenge. You don't want to miss that. And until I see you again, bye.
Those Chaos Cosmetics, those are amazing.
Yeah, the videos look crazy. I can't even understand how they are.
I just watched the one that went from black to pink.
Yeah.
Like, that is a shift. Holy crap.
Yep.
Yep, those are impressive.
Yeah, I'm excited. First up, the first, so many firsts.
Just let me take this.
If you know.
Booger.
Booger.